that you want to review, please know that the recording will be made available later, and we'll send it out across the entire local community foundation network as well. So good morning, everyone. My name is Peter Baker, and I'm the Director of Impact Programs at the Montana Community Foundation. I've been in my position for just at 5 months. And before we get going a little bit further into the agenda and some discussion topics today, and it's a smaller group, so we can just do this just via audio with everyone. Why don't we go around? Everyone, if you could introduce yourselves, your community, where you're calling in from, and something that's inspiring you in your work this summer. And I'm going to totally put it on one of my colleagues at the foundation to go first here. So I'm going to start with Rebecca.
Perfect. Thanks, Peter. Good morning, everyone. My name is Rebecca Connors. I'm the Marketing and Communications Director at the Montana Community Foundation. I have been with the organization since September of 2023, and I get the pleasure of sharing all the good work Montana Community Foundation, our partners, our affiliates all do, and cheering everyone along. So I will be speaking later about some marketing things, resources that we've created for you. So excited to share those. And summer is a time we usually, when we don't talk about marketing, when we usually do our storytelling, we talk about all the how LCFs make summer special in Montana. So that's been a fun thing to communicate the last few weeks. All right, I'll hand it off to Holly.
Hey, I'm Holly Michaels. I am the communications manager at MCF. I started here just at the end of February, so I'm still kind of newish, kind of going through like the first year of everything. And was it what like we're inspired by right now, Peter? Is that what you?
Yeah, inspired in your work during the summer. Yep.
I think I like am getting to get out a little bit and see some of like the work that MCF and the Women's Foundation under MCF is doing and like kind of learning about a lot of especially like, local community foundations for the first time, like the projects that they're doing and getting to like just read about all the good work going on. And that's pretty awesome. So yeah, and I'll kick it to Camden.
Good morning, guys. I'm Camden. I've been with MCF for about a year and a half now. We'll talk more in a bit, but we are coming off of our big board meeting in June, and that is always super inspiring to just get the rundown from all of the different departments about what they're doing at MCF and the great work that their teams are involved in, and just getting our board together in person, which doesn't happen super often. And hearing from them as well is always a great kind of kickoff to summer.
All right. And handoff. The boardroom. I see two of you there. If you don't mind, we'll kick it over to you.
Sure. Okay, I'm Ellen Coker, and we are here representing the Community Foundation of Northern Rosebud County. We're in Forsyth, and we are just excited about how our community is responding to our community foundation. We have gone, on July 31st, we will be 20 years old, which is unbelievable. We have now over $1 million in our various endowments. We still have the goal of getting to $1 million in our main endowment. We're on the way. Anyway, we have a new library fund, endowment library fund, and that is getting off the ground. And we have a fundraiser on the 31st of July, just as a wrap up for a silent auction that's going on at our library. And it's exciting to see the community embrace this new fund. And the talk around the community, it's built my excitement for it. And the way people are saying, yes, this is a facility, a resource that we want here for the future. And so that's what is exciting me at this point in time.
And I'm Daryl Grogan with Community Foundation in Northern Rosebud County. I'm the fund representative. And I think some of the exciting things this summer, and to add to Ellen's, is our largest grant round ever was about 14 grants and I don't know, 35,000. I forget the dollar amount of all of it, but everything that it's neat watching the projects come along. There's new signage in Forsyth that's directing people around. There's a new mural. There's out at Rosebud, there's some projects. The high school got a plasma cutter cam thing to work with, and they're helping with the project to improve the Rosebud Cemetery. Out at Ingomar, there's grants to improve the rodeo facility and the meeting facility out there, and just various other ones in town and around. So it's pretty exciting to see all of that going on as the summer progresses.
Congratulations on those outcomes. About the library, is it a new facility or are you renovating the existing?
It is a facility that was built in the 1970s. And it is, we can do maintenance. They have renovated the basement. It's the Rosebud County Community Center by designation, and it's beautiful. They're using grant money that was given specifically for new shelving. That's going to start going in this fall. But it's not part of the endowment. It's to show the community the kind of things that are available as the endowment grows. Does that make sense?
And the endowments for the maintenance and sustainability of the library to assure that it's there forever and always has things that it needs.
Yeah.
Nice. Congrats. Thank you. Steve, good morning. Nice to see you.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, good.
Oh, okay. I'm not the tech person. I'm glad I get it on. I can see everybody and this is good. I'm Steve Owens, in Deer Lodge with the Powell County Community Foundation. We'll be 27 years old in August. And we're just plugging along. We've last year we had our biggest grant cycle. We did 35 grants since November for $71,000 all over the county, all the rural communities. Some are countywide, some are specific to schools and other projects and the food pantries and things. We have outside donors that have been helping with fund a lot of these grants, plus our incentive proceeds. And so we're just this summer, we're getting ready in a couple of weeks to start soliciting applications for the next grant cycle.
Nice. Congrats, Steve. Thank you. And Penny, if you are hearing me okay.
I'm here. I apologize. I'm kind of wearing two hats this morning.
No problem.
I am representing the Absaroka Community Foundation. And I didn't come prepared for any numbers or anything, so I apologize. We did come off of a very good, we just recently in the end of May did our grants, and this year we had amazing response for donations and some fundraising that we did, and we were able to give more in this last granting session than we have in a quite a while. We have some new faces on our board with some wonderful ideas for moving us forward with some more fundraising and ways to involve the community to to get our funds up there so that we can continue to help.
Great. Thank you, Penny. And what's the tenure on your board service when people become board members? How long are they asked to serve?
We serve 3-year terms.
Okay.
Each time. I've been with the Community Foundation for probably 20 years or so.
Nice. Thank you. And Doris, if you can hear us. No problem. Okay. All right. For me, what I am excited about and inspired by is continued learning. But we are just coming off of some really great grant cycles for numerous grants that we compete and administer here, including in Fallon, Rosebud County, and some of those conversations with those programs and the work of the community members and the thoughtful decision and how those funds are going to be applied across the communities to make a variety of different projects get off the ground and make differences has been really inspiring to see, for me to see. So just the involvement, those discussions, and then seeing the difference they're going to make across the community has been really awesome to be a part of. So thank you, everyone. Again, nice to see you. So today, again, this is recorded. If we get into something that you'd like to rewatch, we'll get into a couple things. The majority of our time will be spent with our colleagues in the communications department here at the foundation to go over resources and support that they provide you in your work. Outreach, as we were just learning, outreach campaigns, things like that is so important and is really happening across many local community foundations across the state with some big outcomes, a number of grants you're making, size of endowments. So comms work, those resources, those assets that we can provide that they will go over, and other support is very integral to that work. So we'll go on that. That'll be the vast majority of time. But to start, I wanted to touch base on one other thing and then hand it over to my colleague Camden here in a second. And it has to do with staffing here at the foundation. And specifically some transitions that have happened in the last couple months, and then future plans to make the staffing adjustments. So the main change that has happened is Cheyenne Wallace, who I think you all knew. So Cheyenne stepped down at the end of May. And we thank her for her excellent work that she did covering the entire state. And I think that's really important to recognize, like her predecessor Taylor did before, to provide support to all local community foundations across the state. So she stepped down at the end of May, and we have kind of the succession plan for staffing to provide continued support. Just to describe to you quickly. And in general, it is, instead of one position, the local community foundation program officer to provide support to all local community foundations across the state, there will be 2 positions, and those positions will be called community vitality officers. And community vitality officers will do the work that Cheyenne and Taylor were doing previously, while working more intensively with nonprofits who hold endowments with the foundation as well. So with that in mind, we will have, I'm going to put a link in the chat here. There it is. If that can open up, that is our careers page. And one of those community vitality officer positions will be posted for an open application period today. So it will go up there for people to apply for, and then we'll go through the application interview and the hiring process to get that individual in place by around Labor Day. Probably shortly after Labor Day is our goal to have that person in place. That person who will be hired from that process will be almost certainly based in Billings, and they will serve the eastern half of the state. So these two community vitality officer positions will be split into kind of a west-east division. So I'm bringing that to your attention. And when you see that position description posted there, if you can think of anyone to spread the news to and encourage to consider an invitation, please send out word to them. And again, preference is for Billings, but if someone is not in Billings that you think might be particularly well suited for this position, there could be some flexibility about talking of where they are ultimately based. But this position cover the eastern, the way Montana is geographic size, probably the eastern 60% to 70% of the state. And then the second community vitality officer will be based in Helena, and she's with us, Camden. She is based in Helena, and she will cover the western side of the state. Camden has been with the foundation and is transitioning from a position of providing support for our board, as she was describing, and also for Mary as kind of an executive assistant. And she will be transitioning over to this position as the community vitality officer for the western side of the state. Kind of gradually, she's starting now, but more intensively by the beginning of August to take on those responsibilities fully. So that's the plan with staffing. And again, we'll do a proper introduction when the second community vitality officer is hired, and then one-on-one introductions for the local community foundations that are in their respective portfolios. They'll each reach out to you for those conversations as well. I'm going to hand it over here to Camden to introduce herself and then transition over to our colleagues at Comms. But open it up if there are any questions about what I just described, staffing and kind of the timeline, the plan to make that change. If anyone has any questions, comments. Okay, great. Updates as we go along through. And again, please refresh that. I'll keep refreshing it during our meeting because maybe that position description will be posted any moment. But take a look at it. And if you can think of anyone, again, around Billings, the eastern side of the state that might be interested in that position, the application will be open today and open for probably about 3-4 weeks. And then we'll start the interview process from there. So thank you for your support, patience, as we go through this transition. We think this is going to be a really good, durable plan to have a distribution of responsibilities instead of one individual holding the responsibility for all local community foundations across the state, to have 2 individuals that'll provide more intensive work support and, like I was mentioning, support for our nonprofits who hold their endowments through the foundation as well. So with that in mind, I'll kick it over to Camden. Camden, good morning.
Hi guys, super excited to be here for my first LCF meeting. Super great to see you all and hear about the great work you guys are doing in your respective communities. Super excited to be working more closely with you guys. As Peter's already established, I'm Camden. I'm based in Helena in our main MCF office. I'm coming off of a 1.5 years of working closely with Mary Rutherford, our CEO, and our board as the executive assistant. but also coming to you guys with, at this point, 5 years of overall nonprofit and development experience. I actually served as an AmeriCorps Vista in Montana for a year as well in Boulder. So I'm super excited to get back to rural communities and our nonprofit partners and our LCFs. Yeah, if you guys have any questions for me, feel free. But if not, just super excited to be working with you guys. And looks like Peter might have something to say.
I'm just trying to think about the specific counties and communities that you'll be supporting. We're going to list those out more specifically in the coming weeks. But again, just to know that Camden is in Helena, and then supporting the western side of the state. It's looking like about 25 out of the 56 counties Camden will be supporting. But if you're in the western side of the state, Steve, for example, there is Camden. She will be your partnering success moving forward. And then in Forsyth, please know we will continue to provide support, Camden and I and the rest of the staff, for bridging, and Penny as well, until the second community vitality officer is hired. So we will provide that role and that ongoing support for you. And then that person for you on the more eastern side of the state, introduction around Labor Day. And then they will come in, fully into their work shortly thereafter. But until then, Camden, myself, and the rest of the foundation team, we are here to support you moving forward until then. That's all I had to say. All right, Camden, back to you.
All right. I'm really excited for Camden in this role. She's a rock star. She's a mover and a shaker. So, and then I'm excited to see who we are able to get for the other position. So I am going to talk a little bit about the resources for marketing and communications through Montana Community Foundation. A little bit of background about marketing and communications. We are a two-person shop. It's Holly and I, and we do a lot of coverage in covering social media, covering any press-related items, amplifying the work that our partners and stakeholders are doing, which is all phenomenal for storytelling. A little bit of background about Holly. She is a former journalist and is just fantastic at storytelling, and we hope to offer a storytelling webinar down the road as well too, because that really just helps people understand the work that we do and that you do better. So I'm going to share my screen and point you in the direction of where we have housed a lot of resources for local community foundations. Daryl, you're one of our superstars on the front of our website there. Awesome, looking great. So we're going to go to local community foundations up in the top right-hand corner on our website at mtcf.org. And under the section for affiliate resources, we have a section for marketing in here. And so under the marketing piece, it explains the different ways that we can support you in your efforts, any kind of contact information, and then a lot of resources. I've just uploaded these yesterday. And something we found is we've had these for a while. We just didn't do a good job of sharing them with our partners. So we want to make sure they're readily available. And I'll go through each one so you can have an idea of how those work. But the role of marketing and communications with local community foundations or nonprofit partners is we are here to support you. So if you create a marketing plan, if you create a press release or a PSA, or anything, any kind of article, we are happy to be eyes on that. You can send it to us and we can give you our thoughts and feedback. We don't necessarily have the capacity to create original content for any of our partners, but we can provide some feedback for you as well. So let's start with the resources that we have. So we have two different sections. The communication templates that we've provided are the top one is more marketing focused. They're one sheets that you can plug in your information. Some of them are co-branded that it would have the Montana Community Foundation branding, as well as being able to incorporate your own, or you have ones that are standalones that you can just have branded for your local community foundation. The second set of resources under public relations is anything we would try to feed to the media, whether it's a press release, a public service announcement, a PSA, and then we also have some templates and instructions for you to look over as well too. And again, that is all housed under our local community foundation affiliates page in this little accordion that we have. All right, so let's go through some of these sheets that we've uploaded. First, we have this PDF sheet, and the first page can be branded to the local community foundation or the nonprofit endowment. And it covers the work that you do, and it allows you to be able to upload an image into there, as well as explain your work. We do a lot. And what I would recommend is you download this to your desktop, and then you can save it as your own template. Then on the back side, it has also Montana Community Foundation information as well too. So that's a great, well, we call these one sheets. They're a leave behind. So if you're meeting with prospective donors, partners, this is great information to leave behind, especially as you're trying to explain the Montana Endowment Tax Credit and how people can take advantage of that. The next one is a one sheet where you can upload, this I don't believe has any MCF content on it. Oh, or it has our logo, but you can upload your logo, your about, and then if you have a QR code, and I'm happy to walk anybody through creating a QR code, you can upload that image there so that people can take it. They would just basically open the camera on their phone, and then it would take them to the website. So that could be linked to your Give Now donation page, whether it's through your own page or through Montana Community Foundation's fund directory. We have another one that we have obviously a lot of different options that you can take advantage of here, but I think this one is more focused on, this one is without the QR code. So just general information about who you are and taking advantage of the Montana Endowment Tax Credit. This one is not MCF branded, and so this talks about the Montana Endowment Tax Credit, and allows you to do all of your own branding imagery on there. And then finally, we have your giving options. This outlines everything a donor can be able to make as a gift. And again, this can be, this is a 2-pager, and it allows you to be able to brand it for your own purposes as well too. And it's nice because Adobe, you don't have to have the high-end Adobe. You should be able to work through this with Adobe Reader to be able to upload your logo or any kind of imagery that you want to put into these sections. Any questions about the fillable documents? Okay. Public relations. This is a great opportunity to share the work that you're doing. Maybe it's you've awarded $75,000 in grants across your county, and you want to share that good work. This resource is an opportunity for you to do what's called earned media, where the media picks up your story. You're not having to pay for like a social media campaign. You're not having to place an ad in the paper. This is a great opportunity to show the good work you're doing through public relations. So I've included an example press release that how MCF shares ours, and it helps you kind of frame, kind of gives you the structure of how to communicate your work. So a lot of the times, local papers are maybe there a lot of different people are wearing a lot of different hats or short-staffed. And they rely on content coming through. So a lot of the times when you create a press release, they'll just run with that as a whole article and publish that. And so you kind of want to stick with the who, what, where, when, why when you're communicating that. Or they will contact you like, tell me more about this, how you awarded $75,000 in grants to our county. And they will interview you, get some more some more things to feed into the article, or they'll also work off of what you put in the press release. This is great for just getting free publicity out there as long as they pick it up. So stay very focused. We don't want it like a 3-pager. We try to usually stay within a page and a half. Creating an about you section. So it gives the journalist background on who you are and what you do. And then any kind of important information like this is where you go to apply, or this is who this website lists all the awardees of the grants that we've issued. It's also great to have a quote in there as well too from anybody who's been involved in the project. So that's an example of a press release that we've provided. And then a public service announcement. This might be for scholarships are opening, scholarships are closing. Here's an opportunity to apply for grants. Public service announcements are great for being able to, oh, this one's to open. Okay. We'll open it. This is a Word document. All right. All right, I'm going to drag it across. Can you see it? Camden, are you able to see it? You can give me a, okay, great. Steve's shaking his head. Fabulous. This can go to radio stations. This can go to your newspaper. Basically, a public service announcement is just you write it up how you want it to publish or what they want it to read off into the newspaper. And newspapers are generally really good about publishing a PSA because it's sharing this opportunity with their readers. So here's an example template I got that I found and kind of incorporated, but it's again, you want to stick to the who, what, where, when, why, when are grants opening, or when is a scholarship available to apply for, what are important links, how can people learn more about your event. So keeping it very focused. And public service announcements, you don't include quotes, you don't include anything too long form, you just kind of keep it very focused on the information that you're sharing. So we have a template up, kind of an informational template available. And then we have the press release template and instructions. So I think this is a Word document too. Yep. All right, this is kind of about, this is a nice template to be able to build out into your own. You can upload your logo, who the contact is, keeping that location and date, always framing it with a title. So again, keeping it focused, but adding depth to it through quotes, through more URL information, and then creating an about you section at the end. The hashtags, that is a marker, kind of goes back to when it's residual from probably decades ago, from when press releases were issued and they showed like the stop of when the story ended, and it still remains. So it's just a marker to show this is the end of the statements, the press that we're pushing out there. So that's why you see 3 hashtags at the bottom of it. So this is another great template covering the who, what, where, when, and why, and all that good stuff. So any questions about more of the public relations facing documents? All right. So if we continue along through this marketing section, it includes how to get in contact with us. And so you can go back to our staff page. I'm always available. I have, let me do the staff page so you can see where we are. Under marketing and communications, we have my phone number available. We have email. So if you're creating a flyer or you're working on anything and you want us to take a look, we're happy to do that. Again, we don't have the capacity to create original content, but we'd be happy to give you feedback or point you in the directions of resources. Like there's been a couple local community foundations who have needed assistance with creating a logo. So we work with a lot of graphic designers across the state, PR professionals, or we can point you in the direction of gig work sites that could be able to help support whatever efforts you're trying to do. But our information's all listed online, and then it just shows the under this section, it'll give you kind of any other marketing information that might be helpful in what you're doing, working towards. So perfect. That kind of sums up what resources we provided. I'm happy to answer any questions, or if there's an area you'd like for us to be able to do a webinar in the future to focus on other communications or marketing stuff, like we want to talk about storytelling, feel free to shoot those over as well too. We'd be happy to present on those. Cool.
I'm curious if I could open this up for a question as well. Thank you, Rebecca, for sharing that. In your work that you're doing for outreach, comms related, to achieve, you mentioned some of the successes in terms of the growth of your endowments, the number of grants that you're competing. How have you, when it comes to comms outreach promotion, what are some things that you've done at your foundations that have been helpful to achieve that related to this topic?
We do press releases after the grant cycle usually, and we do stories like Powell County is kind of spread out, so we have to depend on the Butte newspaper for the for the daily, and sometimes they put it in. The Deer Lodge paper's weekly, and they get it in. And then because the people in northern Powell County are close to Seeley Lake, we go with the Seeley Lake paper to cover Ovando and Elliston. And sometimes we can get Ovando and Helmville. And then sometimes the Helena paper will put something in for us because of the people from Elliston and Avon, and who work in Helena. And we send an email to every applicant over the last couple of years when it's time to for applications. We notify them directly that we're taking applications again, and then we meet with the different this spring I gave a program at the Deer Lodge Women's Club, and last year it was the 30 ladies from PEO, and we do different and Rotary last year and different ones. So we reach out to them that way, and then many of them are affiliated with applicant organizations or donors. So
good work.
Nice.
Here in Forsyth, similar things. We do an annual newsletter, a 2-page foldable one with a donation sheet in it and send that directly to all of the donors of the last 2 or 3 years. We have pamphlets available that we updated or established them this time through Econoprint with their help to we provide the articles, and they've put that together for us. So we're got 250 of those coming soon, and that should last a couple of years and then need updating again. But very similar, I guess, in how we reach out, try to talk at organizations when we get the opportunity, or any kind of a community event we can attend and help with, so yeah, it makes a difference to get that out in their hands, and to ask is key.
That's right.
We also redid our brochures a couple of years ago with Taylor's help. First time in 20 years we'd updated the brochures, and we have them in little plastic stands. I think about 16 places in town, and then there's some in Avon and Elliston, and I think there's one place in Ovando. So we do have our brochures with a donation form inside at many locations, some service places and doctor's offices and food places and different things like that. So if somebody has something to read, we do have brochures out all over the place.
Nice. Were there any resources, as Rebecca was going through everything, that, like the leave behinds, other things that were discussed, that you spotted that you think would be particularly helpful in your work? Or, and I know you digest and think and reflect about all this, but we could provide more information about, or something that really stood out to you from an additional comms related resource?
I think those templates, I think we've used pieces before, but it kind of refreshes me to go look there for articles we might not want to put in a newsletter, whether it's about the endowment tax credit or whatever. Instead of writing from scratch, we could use some of those pieces and make it a little easier for our people that put that together.
I like the concept of the one sheet.
Mhm.
Heather O's has talked about that a lot. And I didn't really understand until you showed it, the template, what she was talking about, because I haven't bothered to go on the site and look for it. But I think that would be a good thing to have. Like if you've had a conversation with someone, leave that with it. Or we're coming up on the county fair and we have a booth, we could leave a stack
Yeah.
of one sheets that just give the nuts and bolts that someone could pick up and take with them and consider. I think that's a valuable resource that we haven't used yet, but I think we will.
One thing we struggle with along the way is new board member orientation or new board member packets. Each new crew that kind of comes along is interested in it, and then they don't seem to be, but the one sheets would be a good way to train board members as well.
So different topical one pagers for board orientation, for community outreach. So thinking different perspectives of who might be the audience for them. Okay.
Yeah, like the
You know,
giving
we
options.
We find with our board members that we also have 3-year terms, and we can serve 2 consecutive terms, and then we have to go off for at least a year. Well, when you get a brand new board member, it takes at least 2 years for them to really get their feet on the ground for the potential of what they could be doing, for what they practically are doing, and how they fit into it. There is a learning curve, and we have not figured out how to get over that quickly. We have not done it just and we're just blessed because these board members are committed, and they come and they stay and they dig in and they figure it out. But it's not because we're giving them good, I don't know, good, I'd like to say we give them good guidance, but I don't know, we don't have it in black and white. If they read this, they can hit the ground running. If you know what I mean? So that's a frustration
Mhm.
for us.
Ongoing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Penny. Take care. When you're talking about that, getting over with the board members to get them up to speed, if I'm hearing you right, to get over that hurdle, to get to the next level, what are you seeing as the obstacle or hurdle, the challenge to achieve that? Is it understanding about big concepts of the operations of the foundation or their roles and responsibilities within the work of it? So what's the obstacle?
All
Okay.
of the above. And with at least our volunteer board, we've got all ages of individuals. We have got some new board members who are young and enthusiastic, and their ability to manipulate technology blows me away. But we have a board that combines me, who is not tech savvy, with these young people. I just love it. But I can't communicate necessarily well in their world of technology. And I can't even articulate the potential in terms that they understand. And what's happening is that as they click in and figure out what it is we're actually trying to do, they come up with all these ways to use technology that is foreign to me, but they're making it work. And so part of our problem is simply trying to mesh generational skills. If that makes sense. Am I saying that right, Daryl?
I think so. A band is an example that
Yeah,
we are communicating and putting files all shared on there. And Facebook, which I'm not on and Ellen may not be. I guess maybe the education needs to be how to get us out of the way.
yeah,
Let them go too, but But it's hard for them to understand. I think the basics to begin with is more concept of how a foundation works, just the basics, the
Yeah.
cheaters that I said. And how to get it in front of people where they actually read it. They don't like paper yet, and now it seems like they do. It's just confusing, I guess, on what kind of delivery channels we could feed that information to, more new members or potential board members. It's not as you all know, these aren't groups that just go to meetings and make a couple decisions and go on and leave it to staff. We are the staff that does it all too, so it's a working group. But
but
I don't know, you
maybe
can tell
what
we don't have
can
an answer
do-
yet.
Maybe what we can do with these one sheets
Yeah.
is like Daryl was saying, have one for each of these concepts we're trying to get across, each of these perspectives, the overall, what does a community foundation mean? What does endowment mean? We still have a lot of people after 20 years that don't really, not necessarily on the board, but that don't understand the idea of the endowment and that you don't spend the principal, and the
Yeah.
power in that. So to have
The
these
permanence of that.
worksheets, yeah, that would, for each facet of the community foundation, then we could print them out and give them to new board members. We could have them on the internet, on band, to where they could go to that and they could get the basics and then ask questions. That might be a way to do it.
We have some of it, it's just the right pieces and
Yeah,
delivery channels maybe.
yeah.
What I'm hearing is maybe to think a little bit more expansively about these comms resources. Maybe we're thinking of it in terms of just outward facing to promote contribution to the endowment or a scholarship program, but also within the operations of the configuration of the foundation itself with board members. And to explain it for educational purposes, but then recruitment maybe of board members as well. So use these resources, these templates for those purposes also, is what I'm hearing a little bit with. Okay. And strength of an organization, I strongly believe, is by diversity of perspectives. I also consider it a great success when I'm able to turn on my computer in the morning. So technology generally is my enemy. But we need to have that diversity of perspectives, the historical understanding of the foundation, its work, aspects of the technical nature, the tax credit, things like that. And then of course, technology that maybe a younger generation can bring in. But that diversity of perspectives will only strengthen a foundation, I believe. So I think looking to that and keeping that in mind is really, really important. And we were talking about some with the technology and the one-pagers and things like that. This is very, very specific. But how do you feel with, and then Tom, sorry if you covered this, Rebecca and Ollie, but on those one-pagers, outreach material to do QR codes, to put those on your one-pagers that you would scan, for you to feel comfortable to spin those up to create one, and or our ability to assist to get those, because that's just so ubiquitous now on anything, right? Any outcomes resource. How do you feel in creating those, or how can we assist to get those created?
We do have them in our brochures and newsletters anymore. Yeah.
I avoid
Jennifer
them
Anderson
like
with that.
the plague. I have never done it once because I don't know where it's going to take me.
Yeah.
And I am forever being taken somewhere that I realize I've got to get out of fast. And I have never used a QR code. Somebody's going to have to sit me down and walk me through hours so that I see where it goes. But we have one.
Yeah.
We have one because these younger folks and Daryl understand how they work and trust them. I do not.
Yeah. Noted.
So but I'm willing that it's in there and I can see the benefit, but this is what we're dealing with, of these different perspectives, so yeah. We have a great group.
Yeah, when we are doing any of our communications, we think of the audience. Who is this going to? And so there's a demographic that likes the tangible. They like to be able to hold it in their hands, save it in case they want to go back and look at it. And so we want to cater to that audience. There's an audience that just does everything straight from their phone, and like I'll just scan the QR code. I'll do it all from here. I'll save that as a bookmark where I can go back to get it later. So that's why we give all those different options of having a QR code eligible one or having it just a leave behind. So yeah, and when we're communicating things, we're also thinking about our audience, whether it's through social media or if it's anything we want to frame and it's in our storytelling. So that's an important thing to do, is always think about your audience, because it's not one size fits all. That's for sure.
Yep. Thinking it's coming to the top of the hour. I want to thank you, everyone, for taking some time this morning for this discussion. We'll send out the link, the recording, to the entire LCF community across the state, the 40 plus affiliates across the state, so everyone has this. Really good food for thought, including on our end as well, to think about. In Camden, this is good stuff for us to keep in mind here, is with these comms resources, the diversity of usage of those resources, to think about it in a more expansive way, and maybe to come up with some templates that would be helpful, one-pagers for educational purposes, for community members to learn about the work of community foundations, and then board members as well for training, so they are able to advance in their understanding and contributions to the foundation. So how can we take these existing resources and then provide some top-line general information that is evergreen and ubiquitous to any community foundation, but then allow space, maybe you have to individualize it for whatever topic per the community, but kind of to have that contribution, a starter per the different topics, and then for you to add information specific to the foundation there in your community. Something like that is something that I'm thinking of if that's tracking in the right direction from this conversation as well.
Yes.
Thanks again. Keep in touch and please refresh that HR page. That position description will be up later today, tomorrow, open for application for probably 3 weeks. And then we'll do that introduction when that person is hired around Labor Day again. And then there will be introductions per community foundation with the community vitality officer that you'll be working most closely with. And we are here working collaborative, Camden, myself, the rest of the foundation to support you as we get the positions hired up and the portfolios assigned.
A question.
Yes.
On that position, does that person need to live in Billings?
The thought right now is a preference for the individual to live in Billings, but if there is someone that might not be in Billings, but would be particularly well suited after your review of the position description, you're like, wow, this person that might not be in Billings, but they're over on kind of the eastern side of the state. If you can think of someone that you think would be well suited, there is openness to considering another option. So if you see that position description, you read it, someone comes to mind, and you want to talk about that, hey, I have this person in mind, they're located in whatever community, please let me know, and we could talk about it. Preference to Billings, but openness to some flexibility there.
All right.
And it's full-time with some travel, I imagine.
Indeed, yeah, it is full-time, and like the local community foundation program officers in the past, Taylor, Cheyenne, thinking of their travel and the type of work that they did, although the state will be kind of divided, as I described, the west and the east side, there will still be intensive travel across the regions like in the past, like Taylor and Cheyenne did in the past. So yes, some travel.
Okay.
Well, Camden wants to move this way, we can help find housing somewhere.
There you go. There you go, Camden. Option for you.
All right.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you.
Likewise.
Thanks.